Can you actually run Claude, Gemini, or ChatGPT on your own computer? Short answer, no, and I'm going to show you exactly why, because a lot of channels won't tell you that straight. But DeepSeek, Kimi K3, and a coding model you've probably never heard of that just took the #1 spot on a major benchmark. Those you actually can run yourself. In the next 10 minutes, what running a model locally really means, the real hardware it takes, and which open models are genuinely good enough to replace what you're paying for every month. Let's get the basics right first. A model's weights are the actual trained brain, a giant file of numbers. Running it locally means that file lives on your machine, not a company's server. To make that possible, most models get quantized, compressed from 16-bit precision down to 8-bit, or even 4-bit, which shrinks the memory needed by up to 4 times, at a small cost to accuracy. You'll load that quantized file into a tool like Llama, LM Studio, or Llama.cpp, which handles the actual inference. And the number that determines whether any of this works at all is VRAM, the memory on your graphics card, or unified memory if you're on a Mac, not your regular RAM. Not your hard drive space. Now, the part most videos gloss over. Claude, from Anthropic. Gemini, from Google. ChatGPT's models, from OpenAI. None of these have ever released their weights. Not a smaller version, not an old version, nothing. There is no file to download, at any price, on any hardware. That's a business decision, not a technical limit. These companies sell access to the model as the product. So if a video promises you a way to run ChatGPT locally, what they're actually running is a different open model imitating its style. It changes the entire question. It's not how do I run Claude at home. It's what's the best open model that can actually do what I need. Start with DeepSeek. Its flagship models are genuinely open weight. You can download them from Hugging Face right now. But the full precision model is a mixture of experts' architecture with hundreds of billions of total parameters. Running that at full quality realistically needs multiple data center GPUs. What matters for you is that DeepSeek also ships smaller distilled versions, same reasoning style, trained down into a 7, 14, or 32 billion parameter model that fits on a single high-end consumer GPU once quantized. That's the version worth installing. Exact numbers shift with every release, so check the model card before you buy anything. But as a rough band, expect a quantized mid-size distill to need somewhere around 16 to 24 gigabytes of VRAM. Kimi K3, from Moonshot AI, is the biggest fully open-weight model on this list, reportedly in the trillion-plus parameter range. Here's the twist. It's also a mixture of experts model, meaning only a fraction of those parameters actually activate for any given token. That's why models like this are more RAM-friendly than their total size suggests. Tools like Llama.cpp can offload the inactive experts to system memory. Realistically, running Kimi K3 at usable quality still means a serious machine, a workstation with well over 100 gigabytes of combined memory, or a Mac Studio with a large unified memory pool. It is not a laptop model, but unlike Claude or Gemini, it is a model you can actually own. Here's what actually installing one of these looks like. Install Llama. Pull the model, 1 command. Run it, 1 command. That's genuinely the whole process for most quantized open models today. No API key, no account, no bill at the end of the month. If the terminal isn't your thing, LM Studio gives you the exact same power with a graphical interface. Browse models, download with 1 click, chat in a clean window, no command line required. Under the hood, almost everything in this space runs on the same file format. GGUF, a single portable file packaging the quantized weights. Download it once, and it runs in Llama, LM Studio, or a dozen other tools interchangeably. That portability is the actual reason this ecosystem has grown as fast as it has. Now, the fun part. The local hero nobody's talking about. KAT-Coder V2.5 is a name you've probably never heard, and that's exactly the point. It's an open-weight coding model that reportedly climbed to the top of a major coding benchmark, beating models with far bigger names and far bigger price tags. For a lot of day-to-day coding work, writing functions, fixing bugs, generating tests, a focused coding model like this can genuinely go toe-to-toe with the frontier giants while running entirely on hardware you own. Specs and benchmarks move fast here, so treat any number you hear, including mine, as a starting point. KAT-Coder isn't alone. If you need strong general reasoning and coding in one model, Qwen from Alibaba has consistently punched above its size. If you want something battle-tested with a huge ecosystem already built around it, Meta's Llama family is the safest default. Mistral's models are built for efficiency, strong output per gigabyte. And if you need something small enough to run on a laptop, Microsoft's Phi models are built exactly for that. None of these will beat Claude Opus on the hardest reasoning benchmarks. But for the actual unglamorous work most businesses need, they're more than good enough, for free, with no data leaving your building. Here's something closed models can't give you at all: the ability to actually customize the model itself. With an open local model, you can fine-tune it on your own support tickets, your own code base, your own writing style, using a technique called LoRa that only trains a small add-on layer instead of the whole model, doable on a single consumer GPU in a few hours. Claude and ChatGPT can be prompted and given context, but the underlying model never actually learns your business. A fine-tuned 7 billion local model on your exact data can genuinely outperform a generic frontier model on your specific narrow task. So what do you actually need to buy? Think in 4 tiers. Tier 1. A single consumer GPU with 12 to 24 gigabytes of VRAM. Runs quantized 7 to 14 billion models comfortably. Tier 2. A prosumer setup. One high-end card with 32 plus gigabytes, or a Mac Studio, runs mid-sized 30 to 70 billion models. Tier 3. A multi-GPU workstation. Real money, real power draw. This is where you run the big mixture of experts models like Kimi K3 at usable speed. And Tier 4, underrated, renting GPU time in the cloud by the hour. Data center hardware, no upfront cost, and you walk away the moment you're done. One more thing nobody mentions: disk space. These model files are enormous. A quantized 7 billion model is around 5 gigabytes, but a mixture of experts giant like Kimi K3, even compressed, can eat several hundred gigabytes of storage before you've typed a single prompt. If you're planning to keep more than 1 or 2 models around, budget for a fast NVMe drive with real headroom, not your laptop's leftover space. One honest expectation setter: local models are slower than the APIs you're used to, unless you've spent real money on hardware. A quantized 7 billion model on a decent consumer GPU might give you 30 to 60 tokens a second, genuinely usable. Push into the large mixture of experts models on a CPU offloaded setup, and you're looking at single-digit tokens per second, readable, but you're waiting. That trade-off, speed for ownership, is the actual decision you're making every time you go local. If I had to score how home-friendly each of today's models actually is, KAT-Coder, easiest, small, focused, runs on almost anything. DeepSeek's distilled version, solidly accessible on a single good GPU. Kimi K3, technically possible, but only if you're serious about the hardware. None of that is a knock on Kimi. It's just the trade-off of going bigger. Here's the cheat sheet. Coding on a budget. A quantized DeepSeek Distill or KAT-Coder, Tier 1 hardware. General business chatbot. Internal tools, Llama or Qwen, Tier 1 or 2. Anything customer-facing where mistakes are expensive. Don't go fully local yet. The frontier closed models still lead there. Privacy-critical work, legal, healthcare, anything that can't leave the building. A local model is worth the hardware cost by itself, regardless of raw benchmark scores. Match the model to the job, not the leaderboard. A few honest caveats, same as always. Parameter counts, VRAM requirements, and benchmark rankings in this space change monthly. Some of what I just said may already be outdated by the time you're watching this. I don't have hands-on, verified numbers for every model mentioned here. Some of this is my best synthesis of publicly available information, not a personal benchmark. Before you spend money on hardware, check the model's official card and a recent community thread. Treat this video as a map, not a receipt. If you made me pick one setup to start with, a single 24GB consumer GPU, a Llama, and a quantized coding-focused model like DeepSeek's Distill or KAT-Coder. That combination covers most day-to-day work, costs a few $100s once instead of a subscription forever, and teaches you more about how these models actually work than any closed API ever will. Scale up from there once you know what you're actually bottlenecked on. You can't run Claude, Gemini, or ChatGPT at home, but you were never actually stuck. The open model world has quietly caught up for most real work. Full model list, VRAM numbers, and links are in the description. Follow for more AI breakdowns like this.